Now it's time for our weekly skip sit rep, where we touch on the top three trending topics for the week. You guys ready for the next three topics?
Let's go.
Yes.
All right,
Turn up. Turn up.
cool. All right, first topic, big shift at the top of the United States Air Force. On 3 November, General Kenneth S. Wilsbach was sworn in as the 24th Chief of Staff. And in his very first message to the airmen, he laid it out straight. At our core, we fly and fix aircraft. That's coming from the Air and Space Forces magazine. He added, readiness is our first responsibility, aircraft availability, air crew proficiency, and the ability to generate combat power at scale are not just metrics. They are measures of our credibility as a fighting force. So, what's his mission, you might ask? It is twofold: to ramp up the fly and fix foundation, meaning every pilot and every maintainer matters, and to keep pushing modernization forward. We're not just operating for today, but gearing up to win tomorrow as well. He emphasized something less flashy, but equally critical. Airmen and their families are the bedrock of success. He pledged support for them while navigating the readiness and modernization at the same time. So there you have it. New leadership, a sharp focus on the core mission sets, and a call to fly, fight, and fix. Because for the Air Force, the flight or the fight doesn't wait. So what are some of the challenges that you guys think he's going to face in addition to the aircraft and the people and things of that nature? What do you guys think?
I can go first. I got that hype. So I can tell you right now, infrastructure, Milcon. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but the fact that, from dorms to your office spaces, just in general, that budget has been decremented so much over the years where now you have to wholesale tear stuff down and rebuild it. You got to either gut it out or do something to kind of replace some of those old dilapidated buildings and infrastructure pieces such as, dormitories and things like that. Because we can't project power if we can't keep the airmen safe, right? And we can't give them somewhere to sleep, give them somewhere to eat. From my last base, they closed down the chow hall. The airmen were getting BAS2. I was like, what is BAS2? I was like, I'm a whole chief out here. I don't know what that is. And it was like upwards of like $800-900 BAS. But they were
Wow.
shutting it. They shut down the entire dorm. I mean, not the dorm, the DFAC, in order to gut it, redo it, so it's back up and running. But I think that's going to be a challenge, the infrastructure and kind of getting back to that quality of life structure that the Air Force was known for. And then the byproducts of that will be increased recruiting and retention as well.
Okay, cool. That makes sense to me.
Wait, one more thing. I'm not ready. I want to say one more thing. He emphasized one thing. He talked about at the bare basics, what we do is fix and fly planes. This is akin to going back to basics. Let's get back to the basics that made us, our own independent arm
Right.
of the Air Force. We project power in this way. We need to refine that, streamline it, ensure that it's overwhelming and powerful as we project in future wars. So that is his kind of message to all of us. Get ready to ensure that we do everything to maintain our aircraft, the current systems, and future systems to project power in future wars.
And I agree with you, Chief. I feel like everything has been about getting back to the basics and kind of just drowning out all the outside noise and helping us to focus on what matters, right? Which is our mission, our people, our families. So I'm actually excited to see this shift back to the basics because there's just been so much going on. Like there's so much conversation and chatter, even in my own work center. And it's kind of like, hey, team, I hear you. I understand, but we got to focus on the mission. I'm going to make sure you're taken care of and you have everything you need to live, survive, take care of your family. I'm going to be your wingman, but we got to get focused back on the mission and kind of let the noise drown out.
Cool. You guys ready for the next topic? Is you
Woo!
impressed? Let's go. Okay, we staying over there at headquarters. More big news out there in Air Force today. The service just announced its new top enlisted leader, Chief Master Sergeant David R. Wolf. Wolf is stepping up as the 21st Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, and he is bringing more than 3 decades of experience from guarding nukes and leading security forces to missions in Iraq, Afghanistan, and across the Pacific. What really stands out? Wolf's leadership style. He says the answer to our biggest challenges are found in the hangars and the guard mounts, not in the headquarters, in the buildings. That is a down to earth message for today's airmen. One of the biggest focuses will be getting airmen ready to take on China's growing influence, especially through the Air Force's new agile combat employment strategy. Basically, being able to operate fast and flexible from anywhere. Here's a cool twist that you probably was not tracking. Wolf had a rough start early in his career, but he turned it around saying everyone deserves a fresh start. And now he is living proof of that. So the new leadership at the top, new challenges ahead, and a clear message. The future of the Air Force starts with his airmen. So same questions for the Chief Master of the Air Force. I know Chief of Staff and Chief Master of the Air Force, they work hand in hand, but they kind of have different scopes. Do you guys have any inklings of the challenges that the Chief will face or any kind of recommendations?
I will tell you this, Chief Wolf, I hope and pray he'll have a easier transition time than Chief Flossie did with Bass, right? When you have these polarizing figures like Chief Wright, Chief Bass, and some of these people that are standard bearers, it makes it very hard for you to walk kind of in their shadow and their footsteps and kind of chart your own path. Because people are looking to you as, well, why aren't you doing it this way? Because I like it this way. You know, she was so available, you're not. Or they thought like this, you don't think like that. Or, you know, people really get caught up in stuff like that. So I would say with Flossie, he had 2 years and had tragedy with his wife passing and moving on. And I think Chief Wolf will have a little bit, you know, he'll have a onslaught of trying to get things together and moving in the right direction. It won't be as polarizing as it was transitioning from Chief Bass, who was the first female Chief Bass Sergeant in the Air Force, to him, now Flossie, to Chief Wolf. So I think it's going to be a little bit kind of easier.
Yeah, it might be. I know a lot of people are going to provide all the personnel issues and the uniform issues and the standard
Course.
issues. It's going to be an onslaught. So it is at the end of the day, fly, fight, and win, and all that cool stuff. We got that. But of course, we have been troubled with the basics. So I think we have been giving the hit that we're gonna go, everybody's saying trying to get back to the basics. What are we trying to do? What is the intent here? So just being able to grab, fresh leadership that is pointing in that direction. I hope that we can have a smooth transition. We wish him Godspeed. It's about to be crazy out there, given what's going on in the world, where we're trying to point, where we're going, just everything as a whole picture. I wish him Godspeed, both of them, as they take
Same.
on some very, very tough
For
positions.
real.
They might have been looked at as God's heroes, when they were in other commands and things of that nature. But when you're in that seat, it's a different seat, and I can only imagine how much gravity, because I have a lot of gravity where I'm at. I can only imagine how much gravity is up there.
And I'll tell you what, there's folks out here real big mad about these lashes and fingernails. Want you
They
putting
are
that in the
they are
street.
going off on the pages.
That's a real topic, dog.
Hey, you know what? Hey, they could get mad about that, but to your point, I'm just gonna tell you this. To your point, what I remember back at Holloman Air Force Base, circa, I think it was 2015, 2016, and we had General Goldfein come down and Chief Wright, and basically what he talked about is, I'm not only dealing with today's problems, right, in the world, which was global war on terror, all that good stuff, enduring freedom, all that good jazz. But he was like, I'm thinking of the chief and the chief of staff and the sim staff of 10 years from now. Now think about that for a second. What will a seat look like? What problem sets do I have to see on the horizon in order to make it easier for my future self to be able to execute? And that's what he was talking about. And that kind of resonated with me. I was like, dude, so you think about today's problems and you're thinking about the problem set of the future of how you can make, decisions for these people so so they're equipped correctly. Like that's a daunting task, because he was like, the new chief of staff of the Air Force and zip staff, they are here. They are in the Air Force at some base doing something. and I need to have it ready for them now because we don't know what that fight will be. So I
Yeah.
was like,
I mean,
that's
but that's
grabbing me.
and I love that because that's a part of the whole accelerate change, right? That General C.Q. Brown was talking about, and how we gotta move. It's a game of chess, and in this game we gotta be 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of China, Russia, all of our competition. Right. So absolutely, as the strategic decision makers, they got to, or else we're already behind if we're not already 10 steps, 10 years ahead. Because we know China's playing the long game.
Yeah.
2035.
Come
2035. They
on.
play the long game. First
Yeah.
island chain, second island chain.
That's right.
Cool. All right, cool. And then here's for the veterans out there, here's a shocking update out there in the military world. A new lawsuit claims that thousands of U.S. service members and veterans have been saddled with false criminal histories, even though they were never arrested, charged, or convicted. That's coming from the Military Times and the Navy Times. One of the voices in the fight says Staff Sergeant Denise Rosales of the Texas Army National Guard. She says she found a criminal record listed in her FBI-linked database despite never being handcuffed or formally charged. Her words, I want my children to be proud of their mother and not ask why she cannot attend a certain school event. At the heart of this is a military process called titling, where the service members become subject in a criminal investigative reports, and their names are entered into major criminal record systems, even when no legal case is filed. So, what's the real fallout of that? Careers stagnate, security clearances get held up, job applications are denied, and emotional weight is heavy. Advocates are pushing for reform. Lawmakers are introducing changes to mandate deletion of those records after a decade if no charges follow. Bottom line, service members out there who have served honorably could be haunted by records they never knew existed, and it's a system that's finally catching public attention. So shout outs to everybody, all the veterans, stuff like that. Make sure that they make sure to check their records, make sure their records are updated, and make sure it's actually reflecting what's supposed to be there. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
That is
Now,
insane.
true. That's insane.
Crazy.
If
Like,
I
you
check
would
my
think that, like, the military would have a cleaner and, like, more efficient way to go about certain criminal charges and how they investigate that, to let, like, someone with no charges, so I'm assuming is innocent, having charges on their record, especially with, like, someone with kids. I know, like, they would want to chaperone on, like, a field trip, and to find out in that way that they can't just chaperone for their kids'
Yeah,
field trip to the museum is sad
that's
and insane.
yeah, and that's literally, it sounds like that's what happened to this soldier here, and that's a weird way to find. That's a horrible way to find out that you had something against you, that you weren't formally charged. There's nothing there, and it's not cleared. Like, why not? So I think that's why everybody's kind of pointing at that and putting some pressure on that system, and looking for reform to figure that out. If you haven't charged me and it's on my record, like, you need to expunge it. It needs to be automatically out. So that's crazy that we
Mhm.
even have to ask for that, but apparently we have to ask for that. So just make sure you guys encourage your airmen or whatever, CGOs or whatever, to just make sure they look at their records and make sure they're good to go.